let's get it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sirius here with the gang. I got a whole panel sitting right here in front of me today. I've got Adrian in the corner. I've got Dre the Dreaded Leo.
Yerp.
I've got King Showtime.
Showtime.
Uh-huh. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. I know usually throughout every week, me and Adrian to get out here. Sometimes maybe we'll have a guest or, we'll have a lot of different topics to speak about. But today, this is our belated... This is our 15th episode, but this is our belated Father's Day podcast. We were supposed to do it Sunday. I was having technical difficulties, and I was like, listen, man.
Shit wasn't working.
And instead of us getting hung up on that, Adrian, go enjoy your Father's Day. well, I'm not going to rob this day of you, bro. Go enjoy your Father's Day. So we're doing it today instead. And what I wanted to focus on today, of course, which is Father's Day, but I wanted us to more so have a conversation. Nothing really topic-based, so to say. So chat, I will say this. If you all have a question or a particular topic that you all want us to get into that's surrounding the topic of fathers, fatherhood, being a parent, anything along those lines, I am definitely reading chat. And I will bring these questions up if you all have any. But this convo is, pretty much for us, man. I wanted to
just kind of open flowing.
Yeah. I want to talk to the fellas. I know Adrian and Showtime. Those are the fathers that we have on currently. I don't have any children. I know Dre, you don't have any children that
not yet,
you know
at least.
of.
Right. No, I think I'm pretty confident.
You think I'm clear? I think I'm clear as well.
Well, hesitant in that voice right there. I think I'm good.
Nah, there was a couple of situations, but nah.
I digress.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is our panel. That's how we're going to run it. I guess I'll throw the first question out, and that'll be geared to the both fathers on the line. How was you all's Father's Day? We can start right there. What did you guys do for Father's Day?
Oh man, mine was great. Got the same thing that I get every Father's Day: seafood and leave me alone.
Seafood and leave me alone.
Every Father's Day.
That's
seafood
every Father's Day
and my space.
Yep.
But don't you think Father's Day is the day that they supposed to celebrate you and be with you?
Nah, man. See,
they know what I like.
I mean,
it's what I like.
Father's Day, I did nothing like I didn't want to. I didn't want to do anything. Of course, I ended up doing things because I have kids. But I got my food. I got to take a nap. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you what, man. Like Alex Sadiq said, man, Father's Day is not that celebrated. There's like on a list of holidays in this country, Father's Day is ranked 20th.
Well,
shit!
Is it because like I just asked both of you guys and y'all like, listen, man, feed me and leave me alone? Is it because we don't take it serious as a holiday? From what it sounds like, fathers just want to be you all need us 365. You need us 365. I'm just asking you not to need me one day out of that 365. Whatever you do, don't do anything life-threatening. Don't do anything crazy. Just leave me alone. Yeah. And so do you think that reasoning or that behavior, you think that contributes to why Father's Day isn't really celebrated?
Well, Showtime, you want to go first? I want to go. You want to go?
I say
go ahead.
Yes and no. Yes, because it's true that we do want to be left alone, but I think no, because a lot of people don't really appreciate what a lot of fathers do. Unless, like, I know a lot of people in our community have grown up without fathers in their lives, so it's not really something. It's like, why are we celebrating Father's Day if my father was never around? You feel me?
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. It's like in our community, especially fathers. I mean, my father's been around since day one for me, but and it's crazy that it's the stigmatism is like it's kind of like a false narrative because a lot of fathers have been around, but I would say fathers don't get celebrated because, like you said, fathers not always around. Mothers are always there. Your mom gave you life, even though life starts in our balls, but mothers gave you life. You know what I'm saying? The mothers are there to nurse you. Your mother's there to hold you when something's going wrong. Fathers, especially our fathers. You know what I'm saying? Be tough. Suck it up. Don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Make that money. You get that girl, dog. Our fathers weren't the warm and fuzzy fathers that we are. You know what I'm saying? We'll roll around with our kids, cry with our kids, laugh or joke with our fathers were working. They were trying to survive. Plus, our fathers, especially black fathers, man, they were dealing with racism. You know what I'm saying? Stress. So it never. I think Father's Day is going to change that because this new generation of fathers have really put a little onus on it now. Because we're very present in our children's lives. We're doing a lot better than they were. But you guys, as a black father, I'm 3 generations from slavery. We're not the black father in the home. That was taken from us in a lot of ways because of drugs. I'm like, whose father here? No, I'm not saying y'all, but I know a lot of people's fathers were on drugs. They got cleaned up as they got older.
Were you about to ask us to call our fathers out, bro? I wasn't gonna do that. Everybody raise your hand. Whose daddy was on drugs? Like, let's just.
No, what I'm saying is
you don't learn today.
What I'm saying, all of our fathers can say we're in their 50s, right? 50s or 60s for all of our fathers right now. So they lived through the crack epidemic. They lived through the heroin epidemic in the 70s, right? So you take all that, then they had no mental help for them. There was no mental health therapy or talk space for them. So they got to take all that shit they had to deal with, all that racism, all that classism, all that shit, all the coming back from Vietnam, all that stuff, and push that shit deep inside. Then, if your kid act crazy, or you going to leash on him because he's your child, hey, man, pay attention to me, son. Hey, I'm your daddy. So we are the generation of those, we are the mix between our fathers and a new generation.
I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm laughing
I'm laughing at Phenom too.
Yeah, I'm looking at Phenom's comments too. Phenom is foolish.
Phenom's stupid as shit. But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's such a, I wouldn't say not celebrated. It's just that when we say we want peace, it's because when we get out there, especially I can only speak as a black father. When we get out there, we have to worry about our children. Because my kids are older, so are they going across the cops? Are they saying the right thing? Are they doing the right thing? Or it's my daughter. She's my black daughter. She's gonna be accepted enough. She's like this and like that. So it's like there's so much stress going in your head. Not to say mothers aren't stressed out. Mothers are stressed out to the high level. Mothers got to deal with us also. So that makes them way above us. But we have to
We also have to deal with them. I wish you would stop doing that.
We'll get to that later.
Jesus.
What I'm saying is that they have to deal with all of our unfiltered emotion, our tough guy attitude. So all we feel have to do sometimes, and I had to stop doing this. All I'm here to do is making sure you survive. Long as you survive, that's what my father taught me. Yeah, I got to the 18. I get out. But it's different now. That's not, we can't father the same way like our fathers did. And it's not their fault. Because they didn't have the tools like we have. We have a lot of tools in our toolbox right now that they never had.
That's true.
But to something you said earlier, you're right. We are growing up in a different generation because back then they did have to be a whole lot tougher. Like they prejudice and racism, it was a lot more prominent. So that was the way to live. So they taught it in that way, whether it was, a lot of tough love and a whole lot of seriousness growing up. So to that degree of that, we not the same fathers as we used to be. You're right. You're right, because we got a lot more information at our hands.
Yeah, I was about to say that information is definitely
we can interact different, right?
Yeah, like we literally have many computers in the palm of our hands every single day. You know what I mean?
So our household isn't the only universe we know until we branch out to little friends. Now we in households all over the world,
and back then,
not just in our culture.
And back then, men didn't talk about, hey man, I need help being a father. Men don't talk. Back in my fathers, they don't talk about that shit. They didn't talk about, hey man, like right now,
publicly.
Not publicly. I'll reach out.
They might have had their boys.
Yeah, I'll reach out to friends. I'll reach out to people. Like now, I got older kids. I'll reach out. Hey man, how'd you handle that? My brothers have kids. Yeah, how are you handling that? I never heard my father talk to his brothers about any of that stuff. Maybe not around us.
I mean, they can't do it around you. You're the
but what I'm
you're
saying
the
is
thing. I gotta.
But it's like the thing. It's just everything we were taught, they were taught, and then to realize how damaged our parents were. I mean, to really think about, man, my parents went through some crazy. Imagine getting called a nigga to your face and have to go home and deal with your kids.
Now, I don't want to. I kind of got to pull the age gap thing because I don't know. Look, my dad wasn't around. He has when we do interact and when we talk stuff like that, he hasn't told me any stories.
He's not going to tell you
about.
He's not going to tell you.
Like I know racism was there. I just don't know how many times my dad was called a nigga. Not living in Fort Washington, if you understand what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. It happened. Look, it happened to him. It happened
because I haven't been called a nigga in my face yet. Not by no stranger.
Bruh,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
it's 2021. If you call somebody a nigga to their face, you getting the shit kicked out of you. I have.
I haven't been called a nigga in my face yet.
Because you
I mean, by y'all, but like not by.
No. What I'm saying is that
I know complete stranger.
Right.
How old's your father?
Shit, he now 50, 52, 51
Bruh.
around that age.
Right.
60-ish.
He grew up in the 60s. He was coming up. If you don't think his TV was full of people getting killed or all kinds of shit,
he was a baby
like
in
that,
the 60s.
But what I'm saying is, he got in this. What about the 70s? You think racism stopped in the 70s? What about the 80s?
It was like coming out, like slowly coming out of it.
You got to think maybe it wasn't overt as much, but you got in the workplace. Oh my God, being passed over.
It depends on where you was at too, like where you grew up at. Like we grew up in a predominantly black community, so my parents are predominantly black community, so they're not going to hear it as much as somebody that did not grow up in a predominantly black community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's like I always think about it, I'm like, man, to grow up in an era where you got to face racism on a regular basis, then you got to fight. Then you got to think y'all younger than me. But y'all remember DC? How DC used to be? Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how DC used to be. So was they just calling niggas to their face all the time in DC?
DC was in the 80s. DC was rough.
Huh.
Okay. And I'm not talking about just
in terms of the living environment.
And then you come down to Southern Maryland, where I live, where it's predominantly white. Dude, I was a white kid in my class. I'm in the black kid in my class. I was a black.
I know we got these filters on, but wait a minute.
I was a black kid in my class. You know what I'm saying? I was a black kid on the football team. Me and my brother for the Little League football team right here, we were the 3 black players on the team. So it wasn't that far ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Don't get supposed to be in the league right now.
Where'd you grow up at?
Southern Maryland.
Like what part of Southern Maryland?
Waldorf.
Like
word? It was like that.
Right, you don't listen. We off topic, but let me give you this right here. Southern Maryland. When I graduated high school, there was maybe 10% black.
What year did you graduate?
96.
Jesus Christ.
It's good skin, baby. It's good skin.
96. You look good for your age, man. Good job.
I'm saying.
Man,
it's good living.
Don't
what
crack
I'm saying,
at all.
All I'm saying to y'all is that it wasn't that far ago. So I'm speaking this from a generation where it's like I remember I remember when there was no black families around my neighborhood. I remember when I'd be on a school bus when me and three other black kids sitting together. I remember that. So you gotta take now. I take that further back to my father, who's like 68 now. Imagine growing up in that time period with no mental health, no help. You got drugs everywhere, and you got to deal with racism, and you trying to be a father. Oh my God, man!
In '96 in Waldorf,
bruh.
In '95 and
if I could show you,
I didn't know it was that rough.
If I could show you a picture of my elementary school, I was the only black kid in class.
That's crazy.
I was by
the time I went, it was a nice little balance.
Y'all see, the thing is, what y'all got is, to me, it's amazing because this area is predominantly black from Fort Washington on down.
Yep.
It was not like this. This just happened from 2000 till now. On back, bruh.
Well, I can't really speak.
For y'all's area, for y'all's area, it's been like that forever. For Washington, all that forever. But down here, where I'm at, they just came to turn to Black Wall Street. For a long time, man, what? You wouldn't go to Calvin County. You wouldn't go to St. Mary's. You wouldn't go to certain places. You can't go to them places, man.
But you know what else?
Is pretty diverse.
You know what else? Waldorf was also pretty spread out for a long time. You would find a lot of black people living in more suburban, rural areas, so they can cluster together and be around each other rather than like be spread out all across like long spaces in the road. Because back then it was good to just huddle in numbers versus be out there by yourself.
I was being that going back to being a father. I remember white kids would not let their kids hang around me and my brothers, white fathers, because we were black. I actually overheard those conversations. I heard white girls' fathers tell them, "You will never date that nigga in my life."
And
while I was in the
Waldorf?
house,
Jesus Christ,
that's
so
that's
close
to show
to
you.
home.
That's right.
What I'm saying. Because look, if y'all, the thing about that area, it's a bubble. Because we self-segregate. We all do. We all self-segregate in school, wherever we self-segregate. In that area, y'all had when I was in high school, I used to go to Gwen Park and Oxon Hill and like Friendly, Oxon Hill, that whole school dynamic up there. Those were the black schools. We used to go up there I used to wrestle. I was the only black kid on my wrestling team. Whole team full of black people at Douglas High School. And it's me by myself. But you know,
For some reason, you just always had next. It was like, hey man, that was a good one. I just got finished wrestling. Now I need you. You got next, right? All right.
It was, but the thing is, and I reflect on that as a father now because I look back and I didn't even remember certain things to start going to therapy and start popping back in my head. There was some fucked up shit that happened to us in the back in the day, you know. So try not to transfer that to your kids. It's a real task because you revert back to what you were taught. And what you were taught weren't always the best. Or if your father wasn't around, who was teaching you? You know, your uncles or whoever that around you.
So I got a topic that's kind of on this point that I also want to kind of bring up and discuss.
Well, Dre,
now,
real quick, Dre, if you could hold on to that, don't forget that. I need you to hold on to that because I don't want this to get lost in the chat. Now, we did have a question, and I did say we were going to do questions from the chat. First of all, did anybody on here watch the Will Smith and Kevin Hart?
I did. No, I ain't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it
either. It's if you want to be a father, it's because they're my age. You gotta the conversation is really good. It really I watched it twice. It really stuck with me because it's again what we're talking about you're trying to be a father from bad examples. Not my father's a great example, but he did not do certain things that I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have the time to. My parents were trying to survive. You know, I don't think any of us come from wealth. Our parents were trying to survive. You know.
Well, that's that's kind of debatable as far as the whole time aspect. Like saying that you don't have time, you have time if you want to make time.
Now we know that, right? We know that now, but you got to think they were not raised in that time where you got to spend time with your kids. You got to make work, pay the bills, take care of your children, pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Paying the bills was the biggest thing. A father had to pay the bills and get the big piece of chicken. You would get the big piece of chicken because you're the father. You pay the bills.
To the bare basics.
It was the basics. Now, I know Showtime. You got days where you just hang out with your kids all day long, play video games, play pool, talk trash. Me, I was in a blow up tent with my kids last night on the floor taking selfies. My father did not like that with us. He was working. You know, trying to survive. Like we figure out better ways to make money. We're entrepreneurs. We're business owners. You know, we're creators. We found a different way to do that. But back then, they had to go to work.
Yeah, it wasn't a such thing as
man.
You working at 9 to 5 or you trying to pay them bills. You're not thinking about being a creator when you get off. You thinking about
and if you're a mother or father wasn't working a white collar job and they're working a blue collar job, which predominantly most of us were working, they're working hard.
Yeah, I was about to say you tired.
You working 10-hour shifts. You know what I'm saying?
My pops had like 2 jobs, 3 jobs at certain times.
Yeah. So your pops is running around working 2-3 jobs. Then you want him to come home and play checkers with you? I'm sorry, I love you, but my love is the life.
Sleep playing checkers. That's
cool. Yeah, my love is the life. My love is that food in that fridge.
That's how I was just move a piece. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, but definitely now it's. I love how we parent now. I love as father. Well, I can't say I love it. And Showtime, you can speak of this because you're younger than me. How old you have young kids, right?
Young enough. They like 9. I got 2 9-year-olds and a 12-year-old.
Okay, so yeah, okay, you right. Ooh.
They self-sufficient,
bro. Yeah. You about to embark. You about to embark in a journey. That listen.
So about the teenagers?
Going into teenagers.
My wife is about to embark on the journey.
I
got 4 more years.
It's like I'm out. Y'all, it's different, man. Like y'all who are not fathers. It's such an on-the-job training. You can't. There's no advice I can give. It's like keep them alive. Keep them out of jail. Look, keep them alive. Keep them out of jail.
Alive, but
I mean, it's more to it than that. But every child has such a different personality. You're creating a mini you. And if you have multiple kids, you have 4. I have 4 different personalities I got to deal with on a daily basis. Besides my wife's.
I will say once kids become teenagers, their personality amplifies because then you're old enough to think about what you want as an individual and where you want to go and how you want to do things.
Man, especially young men.
Before they hit teenagers, they already like.
But that's because of the information we got available nowadays. Like before, we felt like we had to wait. Like we felt like we had to wait because we ain't have access to nothing until we got old enough to go and walk by ourselves.
Let me tell you this crazy shit me and my wife were talking about the other day. Y'all remember getting your license, right?
Yeah.
Did your parents go with you?
Yeah. Well, my mom did. Yeah.
Yeah. Your parents with you, right?
Uh-huh.
When I got my license at 16 years old, my parents didn't go with me. We went by ourselves. My friend dropped me off to take the license test, and I went and got my license.
You had to drive?
Huh?
You had to drive?
I drove, but it wasn't like they call us the latchkey kids. That means we were controlled by a lock at the front door. Stay home and watch your brother. You're 10 years old. Watch your 8-year-old brother.
No, what he mean is like, did they provide a vehicle for you?
No, my friend drove me. My older friend drove me to the thing. He already had his license.
So you drove his car during the test?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I drove his car. during the test.
Gotcha.
So it's like,
man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, right?
He was just walking in getting licenses. That's right.
No, I said I'm not gonna show my age on this one, but I'll put it out there.
Yeah.
We had free driver's ed in school, right? Where they had little modules, a computer module you sit in. You could drive a stick shift, you can drive an automatic, and you'll learn on both. You had to pass driver's ed in school in order to go to the DMV and get your driver's license. I didn't realize now you couldn't get your license till you're 21.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, somebody told me that you can't get a regular license till you're 21.
I think you gotta have in this state you have to have your provisionals for
you gotta have provisional too.
before you can get your.
We had our provisionals. You got your provisionals at 15. You got your license at 16.
Well, from your age to our age, there was a lot of accidents.
There's so much. Y'all,
it's like they had to change the rules up because niggas obviously couldn't drive.
No, we can drive. We talking about we can't drive.
No, but I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. From your point, from '96 all the way to where we're in between, hella accidents.
Y'all can't drive.
Yeah, they was like, we got
because here's the thing.
You know what I've learned?
What's up?
I actually like if I'm going anywhere. This is a side trip, but if I'm going anywhere, I definitely prefer to drive. But if I'm riding with someone, it's not my generation I'm scared of. It's your generation that I'm scared of.
We're very aggressive. That's why
y'all niggas do not pay attention to shit that's going on outside. I'd be terrified riding with y'all, man.
No, but I say this, but being a father right now, it's different.
Yeah, it definitely
is. It's different. We have to get away from. I had to get away from the fact that they are people. You know what I'm saying? They have their own personalities. They have their own wants and likes, dislikes. And yeah, their opinion is not going to hold a lot of weight because you are the parent. But you have to take their opinion in consideration now because they're smarter than you in a lot of ways. My kids are so much smarter than me when I was that age. I was doing something on Zoom trying to figure out the background. My son said, "Hey, Dad, watch this." He's 6. Boop. I'm like, "How'd you do that?" "Oh, they taught me that in school." I was like, "What the hell?"
So I would destroy my kids at this age. I was 9. I would destroy them academically, sports,
physically or mentally.
Both.
So, Adrian, quick question, Adrian. So you said you did watch the Kevin Hart and Will Smith episode. L Boogie threw a question in here, and you might know what she's saying. As a father, Kevin said he knows his area as a father. I gotta read it again. As a father, Kevin said he knows his area as a father. He is activity dad. Oh, he is activity dad.
He is activity dad.
What do you believe your area is as a father, as far as what you thrive in? So Kevin is activity dad. He does activities with his kids.
I'm knowledge dad.
Good question.
You're knowledge dad.
I'm knowledge dad.
They can come to you and
I retain a lot of crazy shit. So they can come to me and, "Hey, Dad, I need to know. Or, Dad, how I do this?" I'm like, "Oh, I got you." And I can. But activity dad, I work so much, and sometimes I'm not activity dad as much. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to get my kids in sports, and they're older now, so try to get them in sports and cheerleading and stuff. So I can be activity dad. But for me, I'm knowledge dad. You need to know something, I got you. You got some information you want, I can rattle. You want some history facts, civics, politics, philosophy? Come on, I got you all day. Gaming? Come on. This stuff, come on. I'm that dad.
Gaming, you are trash.
You know what?
I don't need that slander.
That is not your strong suit.
You chose violence. Okay, you chose violence.
He didn't say the greatest. He said good.
Thank you. I ain't out here, with thousands of followers, but I'm alright.
What about you, Showtime?
I feel like I'm the all around dad. Dad that can do damn near everything. Or willing. I ain't gonna say can, but willing to do damn near anything. So y'all want to go outside, go play sports, we can go do that. If y'all want to kick it, play the game, we can go do that. If you want to talk, we can do that too. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I encompass enough.
And see, Showtime is the epitome of the dads that are coming up behind me. See how you see the all-around dad, and I'm the knowledge dad. Two different generations, right? Because I still try to get out there, but my mind is always working. I'm breaking this habit of working nonstop. I was living that way for up until 38, 39. I was living like my parents. Work 100 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? I'm never home.
No.
That was me. Because that's how I was taught. You know what I'm saying? That's what the example I lived go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, don't come home till 7. That was me for a long, especially as a chef. For a long time, that's what I was doing. I just recently, in the last year, stopped doing that. So you see the difference, and I love the fact that we're both on together. You see the difference in generational. Like he's the all around dad. Now he can game. Now this dad is gaming. He's playing sports outside. He's a younger father too. You know, you're having kids a lot younger now. I didn't have my, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have my first kid until we were in the 30s. Now I'm like, man, I'm tired. You know, I work a lot.
That pause messed me up. I
was looking too.
Your screen froze again, but it seemed like you was doing it for dramatic effect.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
No,
it looked like you was doing it for dramatic effect, and then you just kept going. I was like, oh, okay.
He froze and everything.
It was a glitch in the matrix.
I work a lot, goddamn.
Now I'll say me being that person that's planning to be a father because I've been looking at I've been able to look at a lot of parents lately. I've been able to, be around brand new parents. And of course, I was raised by a whole bunch of different people and fathers and stuff. And when it comes to what kind of dad do you want to be, I think I've had it made up in my mind is I just want to be the overall teaching dad. I don't know if I'm going to fit a role per se, but I just know like I want to be able to just teach by experience and like be a guiding light more or less going through, whether it's through activities. I may find that whether it's just through sheer knowledge and instilling knowledge, it might be that, or just learning them for who they want to be and like trying to go that way to learn before them and then pass it to them. So I've been kind of like thinking and trying to figure out how you get that to, like Adrian's point earlier, not just pass on my way of thinking, but be able to talk to them and have a flexible way of thinking based on how they're growing up type shit.
Right.
Because each generation is different.
Okay.
But it's like, with now, like, yeah, we have a lot more information now as far as like the whole computers, internet, all that stuff. But now our kids also have that same information, that same access. So it's like, it's a good thing, but it could be a bad thing at the same time. Because now it's like, I don't know what y'all are doing. I know what I was doing at y'all age. So I can only imagine what y'all getting into. So,
Man.
And it's like, you got to keep an eye on them, but you got to give them their space at the same time. So it's always a continuous learning process, like every single day, bro.
Facts.
So okay, El Boogie wants more detail. So she hears the question. She's heard you all's answers, but she wants to know what specifically what do you thrive the most in? So like Showtime, I'll go with you. You're you want to be the overall dad. But as far as right now, what do you think that you're thriving in the most?
What do I thrive in the most as far as
being a
parenthood?
Parent? Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. What happened? Adrian screen.
I was about to say, y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. As far as parenthood, like I really can't say. Like I don't sit down and think about this all the time. Like I think I'm thriving in being a knowledgeable dad as far as giving my kids the right amount of knowledge for this situation or that situation, or I'm the activity dad. I take them to all the activities. I don't consider.
Well, why don't we say this? So we'll say you're capable of doing all those things, but what do you think your strength is?
My strength?
Yeah.
As a dad?
Yeah.
I honestly have no clue. Because I feel like I'm solid at everything. My strength is being
a jack of all
the
trades.
guy that can do damn near everything. That's my strength. Like being good at most of the things, just like my regular life. Okay. I've always been good at multiple things. Like not just specializing in one. Like most of a jack of all trades. So,
okay.
Like they say, a jack of all trades is a master at none. So I don't feel like I've mastered anything as far as fatherhood, but I feel like I can encompass everything. If
Now,
it makes
being
sense.
that person that's not a father yet, do you ever have moments where you find yourself sitting back questioning it?
Oh, all the time. All the time. I'll sit here and play the game one day, and they'll let me play the game. Like my wife won't bother me, the kids won't bother me. They'll let me sit here all night and just play the game. And then I'll sit back and dang, I could have like went out to the park with the kids, or I could have did this, I could have did that.
Hey guys, I got
But
to
at
step away
the
from.
end of
I
the
got
day,
I got an emergency. I got to step away for 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
uh, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like all you can really try to do, or I've been doing lately, more so, or making a more of an effort to, is just live life in the moment. Like, don't think back on the past. So I could have, should have, would have did this differently. Like I didn't, and that's why I'm at where I am now. That's why I am where I am now. So therefore, I should just stay in the present moment and continue to move forward. Just learn from that experience.
I feel that. So one thing that I was thinking to ask a little bit earlier, because me and my lady talk about it all the time. Like internally, once you get to a certain age, you always stop to think, "Damn, my parents messed me up in this way," or "Damn, my
Mm-hmm.
parents didn't do this for me," or "Damn, my parents was focused in the wrong area when I need them to be focused here." And
Mm-hmm.
one of the questions I have is like, do you ever find yourself being too critical about certain things? Like, for instance, I'm gonna say this: my mom was very aggressive with how she spoke or brought up things, and I'm like, I don't think that's something I want to do with my kids. I think I want to
Mm-hmm.
take the same nature and the same lessons that they applied, but apply it a completely different way.
Yeah,
Whereas that's how you want to focus it, like, because my parents did this to me, I don't want to do that to my kids. Do you ever
exactly.
find yourself doing that, and or thinking about it in a second way once you do get to that point? Because there's always a before you're a parent, how you think about it, and then after you become one.
Mm-hmm. Well, but like you said before, you want to be like, all right, I'm not going to do this because this is what's been done to me. So, like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, I'm not going to beat my kids because I always got beat when I was a kid, and I still did the same stuff over and over again. So it had no effect whatsoever.
Mm.
Like, so stuff like that. Like, I do think about that, but at the same time, like, you gotta think about your parents trying to figure it out too, the same way that you trying to figure it out. So yeah, you want to, like you said, take the life lessons that you learn. And I always hear my wife used to tell me, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know what I'm saying? So like
my,
that's
mine
what
say
you
that all
just
the
said
time.
reminded me of. Like, it's how you saying it. So you want to apply what you learned differently, and allow yourself to. Or I'll say this: don't be scared to make mistakes
Mm.
with parenthood, with life in general. But even with parenthood, because like I said, you trying to figure it out, and when they get older, they're gonna realize that you was just trying to figure it out. I'm only 30 something, 33, 34.
Right.
I'm technically in the older generation's eyes, I'm still a kid
Mm.
to them. So it's like I'm a kid with kids, and all you can do is learn along the way. I don't even know if I really answered your question. I just kind of went left
You
and
know what?
right
To a degree, but to a degree
You
though,
gonna you gonna
you
bail
did.
him? You gonna bail him out, Dre? You gonna bail him out?
to to a degree, you did, because you got the overall nature of what I was asking, because there is no right or wrong to that, because each person kind of takes that development and apply it differently.
hmm
Well, and I think what helps is, I mean, because it's a double edged sword, but the internet and our access to information, and
hmm
it's pretty much at this point unlimited. So we don't just have to look at the errors, our errors, or the errors of our parents, our grandparents, and things like that. There's so many examples on the internet of what to do and what not to do, the consequences of doing this, the rewards of doing that.
hmm
And if, I mean, just like Dre, what we were saying, me, you, and Adrian speaking about earlier, if you look for it, you'll get it. You know,
hmm
what we was all saying about the algorithms. Even when you don't look for it, it's gonna pop up.
Yup.
But we have all that access to information, so that we'll be able to use those examples, because it might be times where we're not even in that situation, but we already read up on it, so that when we get in that situation, hey, I remember this. Now we might not, of course we have to apply it to the particulars of whatever it is that we're going through, because you can't just copy a cheat sheet, word from word.
Right.
It's not gonna, might not apply to you in every aspect. But those are those are examples and things like that. Like we can look up the mind and its effects on on if a person was beaten as a child and what happened, and it's just information, period. And we don't have to. I remember back in the day we had to go to libraries. we don't got to do
those
that
good old
anymore.
library trips.
You know what I mean? We got it right there in the palm of our hand. So it's just like we have to know where to find the information, how to take in the information to where we can be able to ingest it and understand it, and then how to apply it for when that situation comes. I think, Dre, to answer your question, like that would kind of soften the blow of being critical sometimes, because even still it comes down to like an emotional and a logical response of especially when you're being overly critical with somebody, or something like that. It's like it depends on how that person's feelings, the different considerations with that in itself. But once again, the more information and more knowledge that you have, then you'll kind of know how to navigate through that to see how much energy you need to apply in this situation. My kid probably needs to be yelled at, but like, how much yelling do I need to do for how long? Because I just need to yell to let them know that I'm serious. But maybe it's a particular set of words that I need to say to let them know that I'm serious. It depends. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it depends on how much self-control you have and stuff like that. It's a lot of factors that go in that whole process. But like I said, like, just with the amount of information that we have at our fingertips, that's a huge help. But that's one of the things that our parents didn't have at their fingertips. You know what I mean? Unless they went to the library to read up on parenting and things like that. Because it's not to say that information wasn't there. They just had to go through more
loops to get to it.
Exactly.
But then at the same time, so like you were saying, with your kid, you might not have to spank them. You might just have to yell at them. Like every kid, if you got multiple kids, every kid is different at the same time. So it's like, yeah, you could do one thing with one kid, another thing with another kid, and another thing with another kid. It's just like, yo, like you literally cannot treat all of them the same. I got twins. I can't treat both of them the same.
True.
At all. I can try to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, I gotta talk to them different. I gotta establish my own relationship individually with both of them.
So here's a set of comments from L Boogie. There is no book to parenthood, motherhood, or fatherhood. Yes, there is information or advice, but when it comes to your kid, it is trial and error. Every child is different. You have to hope you raise good, productive human beings in this world. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it basically just goes with a philosophy. Like, what's your philosophy on life?
Yeah, because one thing I will say, even the thinking process of it, it's a very psychological thing. Now, I kind of to pride myself on being a good reader of human beings, but reading a human being and being able to adjust to a human being is one thing, but raising a human being to see someone becoming their own is another, and being able to have a direct hand to either craft it or a direct hand to either give it, give that life something that's either completely unnecessary or something that's invaluable.
What did I miss?
A lot. No. The topic at hand. Dre posed a question. If you recall the question, Dre, you can.
Yeah, so it's like you think about what your parents did to you as when you was growing up, and you think about some of the things that you really liked and some of the things you really don't like. Do you find yourself being obsessive to certain themes?
Yes.
Like for instance, I don't want my child to grow up under this rule because I know I live
Yeah.
this way and I don't
Yeah.
want my children to live that way.
Yeah.
Like, do you find yourself obsessive, or can you adjust? Like,
Here's the thing. I'm adjusting because I'm older. Showtime's already there because he's at a younger age. He's more informational. He's got more time. He's taught more. I'm adjusting because, again, I'm coming from a father who wasn't as nurturing when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm adjusting to. I don't hit my kids at all. I don't hit my kids. I maybe pop my son maybe once or twice, but I don't hit my kids at all. I don't even, because that is pure violence. Now, again, you're talking about baby boomers who know nothing but violence, where you could punch a woman in the face in the 50s and 60s, where you could smack a kid in the street and it was okay. And that generation comes from the 20s. And that generation comes from slavery, white or black. So abuse was just the way it was back then. You whip a kid's ass. You know, you just say the jokes of Bernie Mac and all them. I whip a kid's ass. But now, my parents didn't. My father never hit me. He hit me 3 times, and I deserved all 3. In my opinion. But I don't. That doesn't even come into my head anymore. I purposely have tried to stop yelling at my kids also. Because the image of me yelling at my daughter, her cowering and scared of me, is horrible. It's a horrible image.
So then, how do you discipline your kids? If you don't hit them, you don't yell at them. Then how do you not like just fathers general, but
no, me specifically, what we have found in my house, like I said, it's evolving. This has evolved over 24 years of having kids. It's taking stuff away. Okay? Because when you told me back in the day, you're grounded to your room, oh my God, my world's ending. You kidding me? I can't go outside? Because all we have is Nintendo. We ain't have none of this. Dude, I'm sitting here in front of a laptop, an iPad, a TV, a phone. I had so much shit. When I was younger, you can't go outside. Oh my God. Oh, the torture. Oh.
And you guys thinking.
My kids now want to be in their rooms. So what you do for torture now for your kids, turn the Wi-Fi off. Take away all tablets. My son, if I take away his PlayStation, you would think I stole his kidney.
Because I seen the video yesterday. It was a little kid. He was like, "Run away from home, Dad." He was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "You said you don't love me." He said, "I told you to turn the game off and go to bed." I didn't say I didn't love you. He said, "It's the same thing. I'm out of here." I was like, "What?"
I'm gone.
But the thing is, because like I said, we lived in such, like, if you're born 78 and about 78 to about 85, you lived in such a violent life. You know, your parents were violent. They knocked your ass out in the heart. My mother punched me in my face, dead in my face. So I said, "I hate you." Now,
you kind of deserve that,
right, nigga? You said what?
No, but look, keep this. You're absolutely right. I most likely deserve that shit in that time period because that's all they knew. Now, I can mentally discipline my kids in a different kind of way. I'm taking away all your stuff. Let me give you a story. My son got a Adidas report card. I took away his TV, his PlayStation, what else did he have? His phone. He literally sat on his floor in his bedroom with a blanket just on the floor next to the wall in the dark.
Oh, nah.
I was like, "What's wrong with you?" Nothing. Nothing's wrong with me. And I left the room laughing. I'm like, "I didn't have to hit you. I got to your soul." Because that's what he likes. Like, and for me, that kind of like reinforces the decision of not hating my kids. I don't want them to grow up in a violent household. I don't want them to grow up and be violent with their spouses or wives or with their kids.
Right.
I want to break that chain. Use your mind.
So now let me ask you this then, because we know the world is not
peaches
with
and cream,
shits and giggles, whatever, and rainbows. The world is a violent place, depending on where you are, your demographic, right? Do you feel as though you're potentially handicapping your kids by not yelling at them? Because now, what if they go to the work world and the boss yells at them?
Yes.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What do I do? And they break down and have a nervous breakdown at work. You know what I'm saying?
We just had this conversation about 2 hours ago. Absolutely. The kids, right? My kids, the kids were the punks. They couldn't survive my childhood. They couldn't survive. They're punks. But we're doing it because we were so damaged as kids that we feel the need to go a little soft on our kids. But yeah, like I do sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do yell at my kids sometimes. I try not to. It's a work in progress. But it's such a tightrope, man. Because this is Dre and Sirius. Patience is the name of the game for fatherhood. Patience, because men like you are, who are driven, who are 1 + 1 is always gonna be 2. You know what I'm saying? With kids, 1 + 1 is sometimes 1.5, 2.3, 6. You know what I'm saying?
Can't nobody be that damn dumb, boy. Can't nobody be that damn dumb.
Look,
1 + 1 is what? I'm not falling for that.
Look, I'm telling you.
I'm not falling for that at all.
And then
I'm saying you this.
Play with your mama. Don't play with me.
Look.
1 + 1.
But what I'm saying is, logic doesn't apply to children. Like right now, Showtime, I can tell just by talking to you, you're a patient person. Your whole aura is I'm patient. You know what I'm saying? I can tell that by looking at you.
I appreciate that, man.
No, seriously, because I can tell you're a patient parent. You're a patient husband. But you've learned this.
According to you, if you ask my wife, she'll be like, hell no.
She put in the chat.
You know what's funny? I'm the patient one of my relationships. So,
but also I get that from you and I get that from Sirius. Y'all are patient. Y'all will sit there. Y'all will analyze. Y'all go, all right. Me? Nah, my patience I'm growing as a father still.
It's an everyday process.
So it's just a work with me. I work with you.
I believe children should get popped in the mouth when they say stuff out of line.
Depending on what
it depends on what it is. It depends on where they say it, who they say it around. I believe children should get popped in the mouth. Now, I can exercise all the patience in the world. But if my child comes up to me, for right now, hypothetical child comes up to me and says, I hate you, you getting popped in the mouth. Pucker up.
Listen.
I know, because I look at adults, and I look at my girl, and I be like, you know what, the way you be talking, you never been popped in your mouth as a child. I'll say that to anybody who I'll just be looking at them like, y'all just talking just reckless.
No, but
like,
but there's
been popped in your mouth as a child. Like, y'all just don't know what to say out your mouth.
Now, you got granted, there's an age, and Showtime hasn't hit that age yet. There's an age that they get to where you got to be like, listen, I love you, but I grew up in the streets. And my wife told my daughter, I will fuck you up. Just like that. She got 16 and tried to get lippy. My wife was like, listen, we cool, but I will beat you like a bitch in the street. And the thing, I sat there and I went, damn, then I thought to myself, yeah, because you're 16 now. You at that
it's
age
like that
where
now.
See, I never got the lippy problem because I got popped in the mouth. I don't know how it works in y'all.
I did too. I did too.
But when you get popped in the mouth as a child, you start thinking twice before you start saying stuff.
It all depends, man.
It corrected me real quick a lot of the times.
Especially when grown folks are talking. And you be like, you a child, and you go and you say something like, all right, pop, and go on and mind the child's business. That's how it was. It had me thinking to the point, I'm an adult. I'm like, grown folks, wait a minute, I am grown folks now. Hold on. I can say stuff. I can talk.
But again,
it makes you think twice. Like
here's the thing about that.
Well, hold on real quick, because
this
is the reason why. And I'm not advocating physical violence as discipline and things like that. But let's just take, for example, getting popped in the mouth. I didn't just get popped in the mouth without being told why I was getting popped in the mouth. I got popped in the mouth because you talking while grown folks are talking, because you feel it's necessary to talk about my business, and because there was a reason. So it was like, oh, I'm getting popped in my mouth because I don't know what the fuck to say out my mouth. I should probably think about what I want to say, who I'm around when I say it, what I'm about to say, what time is it? Should I be saying it right now, or should my ass be in bed? Like, now you got to think, because you're given the reason why you're being disciplined. And I'm not going to say that works for every discipline. Of course, you got to make changes and stuff like that. But I think that when you have a reason behind why you're doing something, then it helps them understand why something is being done. Yeah, I know why I'm being popped in the mouth.
That makes complete sense. See what you said? Complete sense
for me.
Complete sense.
It's like I had a smart mouth as a kid. I got popped. My daughter has a smart mouth, but I can't get mad because she got it from me. So it's like my wife kind of got to deal with it, but what can I do? Like,
and as a father, when you have a daughter, which I have too, you don't want your daughter to be in a physical relationship with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going off of your example. So again, I've never touched my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying, man, bump that.
Because I don't want her to think, well, if he loves me, and if I get out of line, he gonna pop me in the mouth. As she gets older with a man, she thinks, I want her to draw that line. If you put your hand on me, I'm gonna kill you. That's simple. That simple right there. I don't want nobody putting their hands on my daughter because she's gonna talk reckless. She's gonna talk reckless. She's my child. My child. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want her to go, well, it's okay, he hit me. I said this to him. No, there's nothing you can say to him. Well, no. There's nothing you can say to make you hit you in the face. It's not gonna happen. So it's like, again, with being a father, it's a difference between a boy and a girl. With boys, you got the masculine testosterone. You're like, yo, it's my dude. We wrestle, we play around. I'm not DDTing my daughter. You know, I'm not throwing a football to the back of her head because she didn't catch the ball right. You know, but my son, I'm gonna be a little more rough and tumble. Now, that's gender roles, and that's how we're raised. But
because it's real.
But you have to pay. You got to parent different between son and daughter, and oldest child to youngest child. Because the oldest child, we always call them their experiment. You're the first one, but your parents have no idea what they're doing.
And for the record, being the oldest child and being the experiment, we don't like to be referred to as the experiments. Just to let y'all know, for the ones that have would you not call them that, like, to their face, or while they in the room? Wait till they leave the room before you call them an experiment. Don't call them an experiment. Don't say uh-oh. Don't say.
What you say?
The safe child. Is that better?
Because look, you gotta think. You two right now, y'all like, I want to have kids one day, right? Y'all have never raised kids. Y'all don't have kids. Y'all haven't been raised the kids always. Y'all have no idea what you're doing. You're not supposed to, because it's something. It's on the job training, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your first child compared to your last child, like my son. Oh, my little one. Please, man. My youngest baby, I got that. But my first one, oh God, that man. That was struggles, because you're like, okay, what do I do with her? Why does she act like this? Who is she? and she gets to that certain age, you're like, why are you like this?
No, see, all right.
So the first child, look, your little brother gets away with so much more stuff than you ever did.
We about to get into the portion to where I don't know shit because I don't have children, and everybody's gonna disagree with me.
What is true?
No, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. All right, so this is my thing.
I want to hear this.